So Burrp today is primarily a sort of an urban lifestyle guide, primarily focused on the internet today, but have started to expand into print as well. So I don't think it's fair to call Burrp just an online company anymore, which is something I probably would have done 6 months ago. Focus thus far has been both on providing sort of local lifestyle information across 8 metropolitan cities in India, and then also providing people with accurate TV listings across most major television channels in the country. A third product that we have is called Burrp Blah, which is pretty much a city-agnostic online lifestyle magazine across 5 or 6 major categories like arts and entertainment, fashion and style, how-to, hobbies, career, etc., etc. I think originally the idea was born out of a group of friends that had come to Bombay, I think in December of 2004 it was. We had basically come across some difficulties getting to know the city and trying to figure out exactly sort of the places that locals went to, not places that tourists are supposed to go to. So the only real source of information that we had were sort of concierges in hotels, guides that were sort of geared towards the tourists, not necessarily towards locals, and those tended to either be too expensive or not really give us a flavor of the city. So I think that when it came back to the United States, me and a buddy started tinkering around with the idea of creating an online repository for local opinions about local places, and that was kind of started, it just snowballed from there pretty much. Very possibly you could see a Burrp magazine. So I think that, you know, with respect to traction and traffic on our online properties, thankfully we've not seen a slowdown with respect to people that are willing to come to the site and continue to consume the content. With respect to things like hiring and spends on marketing and stuff like that, yes, I think that we've started to sort of temper our decisions a little bit when it comes to those kind of things. That's not to say that we won't do it, but we, I think, tend to do a little bit more homework. We tend to spend a little bit more time mulling over it. We tend to bounce ideas off of each other a little bit more, use more people in the office as a sounding board before we actually go and commit to spending money. We're not saying, you know, drastic things like there's a hiring freeze at Burrp or that there's, you know, zero marketing spends at Burrp, but we're being a little bit more intelligent about, well, what are the different platforms that exist out there that we could leverage, like a Facebook or an Orchid, where it's pretty much zero cost marketing, but what is the right way to sort of crack the audiences on Facebook or on Orchid? So I think we're starting to, you know, this environment is good for us because it's forcing us to spend time on looking at those kind of platforms. No, I think it's totally great. I think it's totally cool. I think as long as you guys continue to, you know, extract honest answers from people and you don't get sort of the sugar-coated stuff that so many of us have gotten used to watching on TV, it's a great outlet for people to kind of, you know, express, number one, honestly exactly what they feel about a particular environment or their business, and for the audience to actually hear a lot of those truths instead of having to hear the stuff that, you know, is on TV or on radio. Newspapers are the worst, so it's great.
Burrp TV was essentially meant to get us out of the local space, expose us to the Indian internet population as a whole, and also to fill a huge gap that existed in the TV guide space. I think we've been able to address both of those objectives and come up with a product that is extremely usable, extremely well designed, and robust enough to really set the tone for the platform of the future. It's been very positive. It's really been a reaction that was unexpected in many ways, even though we did realize that since there wasn't a product like this, it would be a success and a hit. I think it's been a very overwhelmingly positive response. The advertisers are in fact the channels themselves. We have plans that are available to channels to promote themselves and their shows, new launches, any sort of activity that they might have, including SMS content that they have available for download, etc. So the response has been extremely positive. Out of all the properties that we have, it's trailing only Bombay right now, and that too not by that much. So it's pretty much neck and neck at the top of all the properties that we have. First of all, number of channels. We have 40 or closing on 40 channels right now. We'll close the year with 40 channels, and looking to grow that to 100 channels within the next 6 months after that, including regional, news, sports, which are the categories that we don't have right now. We focused on general entertainment and movies as the primary drivers, then moved into music, and now we're moving into news and sports, and then after that it's going to be all the regional channels.